As far as I'm concerned, I'm a huge fan of physical media. When you watch a movie or play a game, it's like you go on a journey, right? And once it's done, you don't have anything that remains from a journey except these memories. But for me, when you have physical media, a box, a disc, it's a way of materializing that journey. You can touch it, feel it. It becomes haptic. You can see it, touch it. I think it's just nice having something physical that represents, that materializes your journey. There was someone who posted a question online, and he's like, for all the atheists, why don't you believe in a god? And most the answers were along the line of, there's a lot of bad things happening in the world, and we cannot see how a supposed good god will allow all these things to happen.
Right.
And I wanted to challenge that point of view. There are some evil things that happen in the world, but at one point we should stop blaming God and blame ourselves. War are not made by God; they're made by nations against nations and people against people. So someone asks the main character, "Why do you like art so much?" And it wasn't a movie; it was like just a piece of art. Why do you like art so much? Along those lines, and he tells him along the lines of, because it's the only trace we leave after we die. I'm not sure if he says only trace we leave after we die, but it's a trace we leave after we die. So this film, I don't know who's gonna watch it. At least my family, my friends, but I know hopefully if this stays a thing, my kids, my sister's kids, my future generations, if they watch this, they can get a glimpse of who I was, how I thought about life, what I did, how I thought about God. Part of me still lives on, and part of me helps people through this movie, or at least I'm hoping to, or get them to reflect. And for me, that's amazing.
Okay, hi everyone. It's been a while since I've done one of these. So I once read a tweet by a podcast host who described his podcast as being, quote, semi-defunct, end quote. That is probably the best description of my podcast for the past year or so. And I'm actually a little bit embarrassed to say that the episode that I'm releasing now was actually recorded over a year ago. I'm not sure I can fully explain this time gap in any way that could be considered satisfactory, except to say that time really does seem to pass by faster as you get older, and it's not always easy to juggle all your responsibilities with your hobbies. But as they say, better late than never. So I recorded this episode in April 2024 with my good friend Ziad Ghazi. Ziad is a director, he is a producer and a writer and an actor, a video game developer, and he has such a large number of interests that it's always interesting to see what he can come up with creatively. In this episode, we talk about a feature-length movie that he's done recently called Rewind. And so in this movie, the main character, Sammy, feels guilt after feeling responsible for a car crash that killed his mother when he was a teenager. But he is offered an opportunity to make things right by a mysterious doctor. And so in this episode, we talk about the movie itself, including the various themes, the characters, the music, and the multiple challenges of indie filmmaking. We also touch on religion a little bit. We touched on some of Ziad's past projects and also some of his inspirations. And so without further ado, please enjoy my conversation with Ziad Ghazi. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Joe. I've got my good friend Ziad on my podcast. Thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So, in addition to being my friend, Ziad is also an actor, a director, and a writer, and a producer. And he's making movies and all sorts of little stuff. So, I know you don't have a lot of time. I really appreciate you making the time today. So,
Hey, no problem. Thank you for having me again.
yeah, anytime.
You said I'm an actor. Maybe I'm an actor. I'm a bad actor. let's put that right away.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard for people to act, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier today. But yeah, I guess you didn't have the biggest role in your current movie that we're going to talk about
Yeah.
today.
No, that's true. As we mentioned, and in this film, most people, like the very few people who saw the film, they told me, "Hey, as a con artist, someone who doesn't care, who is not even trying to hide the fact that it's a con artist, you did an amazing job."
Hmm.
But I tried other things where it's emotion heavy, sadness, happiness, fear, all that. When it comes to those deep emotions, I'm not the best at that. That's fine. I really like directing and especially writing more. You mentioned I wear many hats. Acting is not one of them. Well, it is, but I don't go deep into it,
Right,
which is
right,
fine.
right. Okay, well that's fair. Um, okay, so I want to talk about your movie.
Yeah.
So this isn't out yet. I think you're still in the final stages of post production.
Yeah.
So you made this movie called Rewind. I have the box cover art here. And I actually want to talk about this a little bit
Yeah.
because I was really impressed by the quality that you put into this. And so I just want to say, like, hats off to you.
Thank you.
I just
Yeah.
want to show this to people. So you have the cover, and then it opens up, and then you have some pictures. Maybe you want to talk about these a little bit.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, as as Joe was saying, you have the front cover, obviously the back cover. What I really like about this digibook was the first ever. So I used to live in Lebanon, and back then, if you wanted to buy like any movie, whether it's a game or movie or something, they just give you a torrented copy. It doesn't have any nice cover or anything. It just like doesn't have a cover. It's nothing. It's like you can make it at home.
Right.
So the first original copy I got from Lebanon, it was a WWE show, WrestleMania 21. It was like this. It had a front cover, a back cover, and it opened. It had two images, and it opened further, and it had three discs. And I was really amazed. I kept like cuddling with this with this thing. I would appreciate the photo, keep opening up, look at the disc and everything. And I wanted to do the same here. So in the front cover, I always want to put something that at least represents the movie, either in part or in whole. So here you see Sammy angry behind bars, and those bars represents like the present he put into his own mind. So basically, this image represents Sammy's psyche throughout most of the movie, and I think this simple image again represents the whole thing. Now the bottom image is just a still image from as Adam was in the parking lot, but again it speaks more about the image because in here he's just scared. He doesn't want to take the next step, and that's how he is in the whole movie. Like he's scared. Not only does he not want to take the next step and face his fears, he just basically decided to throw all his faults on his dead brother, and that's something scary, compelling, but scary. And the back is just a more general image. You have the big image. These two images somewhat depressing, so I wanted some people smiling and laughing with the synopsis, and on the bottom a few other stills of the images. I tried to get every actor at least some somewhere on the cover, then the spot just to make it look professional. I even added logos that I didn't need to.
Okay.
And some of the special features, I put in the special features that I know are gonna be there, and the things that I'm not sure of, you just put, and much more. Always put and much more when you don't know what you want to put. And so inside the images, I have inside the box, I have these two images which I really really love. This is just such a cinematic photo. It just looks amazing, and it explains the whole movie. It's one of the first things you see in the movie, and you kind of forget about it until the very end, and it all makes sense. You might not even remember it when you finish seeing the movie, but if you see it again and you see the scene and you're like, oh, that's what it was about. And this image is, I just love it. It just shows Dan's character Tadio. You see no ill, no evil in his eyes, like an innocent smile, eyes that just care about the other person, and that's exactly um, who the Tadio I was going for in this movie. Ironically enough, this photo was this big. I needed something to complete this part and this part, so
Okay.
I used DAL-E. It's like ChatGPT's brother.
Yeah,
It's
really,
it's an AI.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can see here there's a slight difference. Here there's dots and stuff, and here it's more smooth.
Wow.
And here it added an extra hair that's
Oh.
getting out of
Yeah,
his
yeah.
but like it looks amazing. In here there's 4 images. Here it looks black, but if you look closely, there's an image behind that, and it just, let me remove that. Just amazing. Here you have, well, it feels bad saying amazing for something I did, but I assume you liked it. That's why that I'm saying. So if you have a photo of the mother rabbit and her son, and then in French, l'élément déclencheur, so the thing that messes up this natural good element.
The triggering event.
The triggering event, exactly. And then in here, once you have the trigger event, obviously it causes a bunch of problems until that character, whether it's in a movie or in real life, the character decides to face it. Yeah, something bad happens, but I either need to do something about it, or maybe I don't need to do something about it, but it can't control me anymore. And this is what happens in this scene. And here it's the final situation. Once you tackle your problems, then even if it's not the same as your ideal scenario, you're gonna have good feeling on the inside. You're gonna be comforted. You're not, your brain won't keep thinking about this problem. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but the first image and the last image are really similar. It's the mother with her son,
Right.
even though he was eaten. And the disc, the image, I'm inspired by Disney's 4K discs. They have like the top 70-80% as an image that represents the movie, and on the bottom the 4K logo, and a bunch of extra logos.
Right.
For some reason I like that, and I went for something similar. I realized I haven't given you the other disc, but it's basically just black and white, and you have a shadow of a mother calling to her son as he's just leaving towards her, and it's really powerful. I liked it. So yeah, that's, you wanted me to speak about this. I think that's all that went into my mind when it comes to this. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a huge fan of physical media. When you watch a movie or play a game, it's like you go on a journey, right? And once it's done, you don't have anything that remains from a journey except these memories. But for me, when you have physical media, a box, a disc, it's a way of materializing that journey. You can touch it, feel it. It becomes haptic. You can see it, touch it. I think it's just nice having something physical that represents, that materializes your journey. There's some element, for me at least, that makes it real. Like when I'm watching a movie, I feel like there's this block, there's this how do you call it, thing that differentiates the real world and the virtual world, the movie that I see.
Right.
When you have it, that's like the link between your world and your journey.
Yeah.
That's for me. When I tell that to people, there are 2 types. The people who tell me, wow, that's a really good way of thinking about it. And the other type, they're like, hey buddy, wake up. So I think most people could relate to that if they see it properly. You would never go into a DVD store and just steal a DVD. But many people torrent movies and they don't feel bad about it. And I think that's because, again, when you torrent it, there's something about digital that still doesn't feel real to most people. But when it's physical, there's this element of reality to it. That's why, for example, someone would not steal a physical disc, but they would steal that same movie digitally.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's nice to own media as well. Like I have bought a few movies and TV shows, on the Xbox store, for instance. But like there is something nice to have a physical copy of a movie or TV show that you really like. Partly because then you actually own it. Nobody can take away your license for
Exactly.
viewing the content, and um, it
There's
is nice.
special features if you're really interested
Yeah,
in the behind the scenes.
yeah.
That's how I got a lot of my filmmaking knowledge. I haven't went to any film school or anything, and a lot of YouTube channels just teach you not everything that you need to know. But when you really love a movie and you listen to the special features and you see what goes into the pre-production, the production, and the post-production, what worked, what didn't work, basically you're taking, I don't know, let's say the movie took, not my movie, let's say another movie we're watching took 2 3 years to make. You're getting all this experience within 1 hour of watching the special features, which is really nice. It's a really educational experience watching the special features.
Okay. So what would you say was the most important thing you learned while watching a special feature of a movie?
Many things. As far as writing goes, um, there's the there's the way people think about it. Like some people just when they get an idea, they write it on a stick it note and
Yeah.
put it somewhere. Some of them they just write the whole script and then they review it many times and then they get to know their characters more. Um, just different ways. As far as directing goes, that's something I did with the with the short, very short movie, 5 minute. I did right before this, which is I think it was in the special features for the Jungle Book movie, the live action.
Okay.
And the director says that hey, whenever there's a running scene or something, and the main actor who's like 12 years old, he had to do it. The director would run with him and um, play with him in a way so that it's not only the actor who's tired. There's
Right.
a bunch of the crew that's tired as well. And for my for the movie that came just before that, the 5 minute video montage, I did the same. We had a teenager who had to be sweaty and all of that and run, and I didn't want him to do it alone. So I'm like, you need to run for about 5 minutes, but I'm gonna do it with you. Obviously, everyone thought I'm crazy, but I did it, and I think it really helped that hey, you're not the only one who's gonna be tired, even though not everyone is running. Hey, I'm with you. I think that helps build a connection.
For sure. Okay. Well,
That's really good, by the way. Thank you. I don't usually like soda
no
drinks,
problem.
but that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. They're a paid sponsor for this podcast.
Oh, are they?
No. Okay, so you talked about a 5 minute movie montage that you did.
Yeah.
And so this is also not your first movie. You've done 2 movies before this.
Yeah.
You said Juice earlier before we started recording, and Liber.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
So
I'm impressed.
can we talk about those a little bit?
Yeah. What do you want to know?
So maybe you can give us a quick summary of what those movies were about and maybe things you learned from each movie.
Of course, yeah. Juice is basically the first ever movie I did. It's funny how I started. I was 16. So I was old, but I don't know. I had this idea like only an 11, 12-year-old would get. But anyway, I was 16 and I woke up one day. I'm like, okay, today I want to be famous. Okay. How to be famous? I need to be an actor. Okay. No one's gonna give me an acting role. So I need to make my own movie. I'm gonna write it and I'm gonna give myself the main character and I'm gonna act in it and I'm gonna become famous. Surely enough, in our school there was one guy who's known to be making very good movies. I never talked to him, he never talked to me. But I messaged him on Facebook, hey, I'm thinking of doing a movie, would you be interested? And surprisingly enough, he's like, yeah, let's do it. And so we met, I showed him the script. He had a lot of modifications to make. But long story short, it was basically a crew made up of my friends, just friends. We shot it, we edited it, and I was still happy about getting that exposure that, hey, I did something. So back then, I used to call every single day MTV Lebanon. I wanted them to show the movie. every single day, and I still remember the number because of how much I called them, or simply because it's a very easy number. It's 04 444 444.
Oh yes, that's
Yes.
hard to forget. Hard to forget.
But I would call them every day, and no one would answer until one day they answered. They transferred me, told them about the movie. They're like, "That's awesome. We don't show movies, but what you did is awesome. At such a young age, you're a really young director. We'd like to give you a televised interview." And I'm like, "Oh my god, are you serious? Okay, yeah, I'll definitely do it." And so yeah, I got a televised interview, and that really helped kickstart my quote unquote movie making career.
Sure.
So just like in movies, now there's the shoot, there's the fall.
Right.
So the second movie I did, basically, it was horrible. I didn't have my mentor, and I just had my friend and my cousin acting in it. We didn't have a camera person, a microphone person, or anything. And I believe I wasn't ready to do a movie by myself. Like the first one, yeah, I wrote the script, but my mentor, Saad, he's called, he helped me a lot. In this one, I was by myself. The story, like, I tried to represent someone who hears voices in their heads. So a little bit like schizophrenia, but I represented schizophrenia really bad. And I finished the movie. I finished stuff. I usually finish stuff that I start. I had hope in it. I finished. I edited it. I put it on a disc without fancy colors like this. But for some reason, part of me didn't want to show it to people. It just, I guess it's instinct. I didn't show it to my family or anything, just to a few friends. And that was it for this second movie. And then I took like a 6 year hiatus, and then I was watching, ironically enough, the Back to the Future special features, and I learned a lot, and it gave me a bunch of motivation to do, even one more movie, give it one more shot. So I wrote a script, I talked to a bunch of people, Ottawa's best actors. Most of them, they auditioned, they're like, yeah, no, we definitely want to be part of this movie. And we were filming it, it was going great. It's about 6 people who wake up in a room, there's a TV, and they have virtual lives, and it moves, and they don't know what makes their virtual lives move, and there's a timer. It was a great idea, great movie. Sadly, we started it before COVID, so when COVID hit, we had two scenes remaining. And I asked, Ottawa had only 5 cases. We were like, okay, would you guys mind if we just finish these two scenes in 2 days, real quick, before this pandemic becomes a pandemic within Canada, nation-demic, I don't know what you call it. So everyone agreed except one person. She said no, she's not comfortable. It's 5 cases, but it could be much more. So I knew back then that this movie had to be cancelled. She told me, she promised that, hey, as soon as the country opens up, we'll continue. But I knew that wouldn't happen. So the country opened up after almost 2 years. Back then, nothing worked. Like, we didn't have access to the location anymore. They were all adults, but we had one teenager. I think he was like 13. He was this high. No.
Oh, no.
That big. It just, we couldn't move with it. But that's fine. It was still a very good learning experience. And then when I went to Lebanon, again, because of COVID, I did a 5-minute short video that I told you, and that kickstarted this movie. Okay. So to answer your question, what I learned about each movie, Juice, it had a lot of montages, a lot of music, and it really helped me understand the power of music in movies. The second movie, Liber, had no music at all, and I could see the difference. In Juice, you could see the music just makes you happy, especially when paired with the visuals. Mm-hmm. Liber didn't have anything. It was too dark, but it wasn't the dark I was aiming for. So these two movies taught me about the power of music in the movies, and Liber also taught me what not to do. So for many times, like the montages, I wouldn't write any script at all. I'm like, we'll figure them out on the spot. I'll discuss with the actors and everything. But no, quite the opposite. Montages and are the things that you need to script the most, and storyboard as well. So I learned that for the movie that got cancelled. It was called The Fun House. So just before COVID, what I learned the most, and that's something really interesting, is how to be a good director. I'm not saying I used to yell at the actors or anything. I don't understand how people do that and they still have their job. But
Mm.
basically, what I did is they come out there and I would just rush them. Okay, yeah, that's amazing. Let's get back to filming. Blah blah blah. And I just wanted to make sure the script is being mentioned, that is being properly followed, that I forget to give them directions like here you should be scared, here you should do this, here this is what you're feeling.
Mm.
So the actors were directing themselves, and so when it got cancelled, I got to step back and I'm like, okay, no, as a director, even though they're actors, they're really accomplished actors. As a director, they look up to me for instructions. So I took all this information and I tested them by doing this 5 minute short video. I had a lot of storyboard. As a director, I said everything that was in my mind and it worked great and it kickstarted Rewind.
Okay. Well, it's an interesting journey.
Thanks. Yeah. Again, just like just like a movie, you start well, then you have problems, then
Right.
you work your way through it. It's amazing.
It's what life is, I guess, at the end of the day. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in what way does this film stand out from your previous projects, and what motivated you to take on this particular story? So maybe you can just quickly give us a little recap of what the story is.
Yep, of course. So, in a nutshell, basically, the story starts with a teenager and his mother in the car.
Mm.
They're having a nice conversation. Suddenly, it starts into a fight. Teenager Sammy um, is mad. He gets out of the car. The mom is mad. She keeps driving, and she goes into an accident and she dies. So fast forward, we have this older version of Sammy who's ridden with guilt and who just can't move on, and he's going about it in the wrong ways. Like he's not trying to speak to doctors or to friends or family anymore. He just gets con artist hoping some souls come and save his problem. So he keeps checking sketchy people until someone tells him, you know what, I can send you back in time. And even though he tried desperately to believe all the con artists, the guy who told him, I'll send you back in time, he was skeptical at first. But he does send him back in time to that moment with his mother, and he makes sure they don't fight and he doesn't exit the car. So, do you want me to say the whole movie with the ending or just the synopsis?
I think that's probably good enough.
Okay.
For
So
listeners.
so let me say this. So he fixes his words with his mom. They don't fight, but he goes back to the present and he realized that he still needs to fix it even more and even more and even more.
Right.
Yeah. I'll stop you.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of the Butterfly Effect movie with Ashton Kutcher. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this, but it does seem to have some similar uh, story points as well.
Definitely. One of my inspirations for this movie is obviously Back to the Future, since there's the time travel element to it.
Right.
But many Telltale games. So basically, Telltale games or Quantic Dream games. Uh, what they do is that you're playing an interactive narrative game. So you just have a movie that you're watching and you make choices along the way, and the outcome it changes accordingly.
Right.
And that's in a nutshell the butterfly effect. It's a small change in one place, it can lead to a huge change, to a huge effect somewhere else.
Right.
And that's actually what I'm basing my thesis on right now. I'm designing a serious game, so an educational game, but it's an interactive narrative game, and the people make their choices along the way to figure out the murder mystery, and along the way they're gonna be learning about mental disorders.
Okay. Well, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know we've already touched on the characters a little
Yeah.
bit. So there's Sammy, and so Sammy, I guess he's kind of like the main character in a sense. I don't know if that would be fair.
Go on.
to say, but you have Adam, who's the older brother.
Mhm.
You have a younger brother as well.
Yes.
Forgot his name.
Thomas.
Thomas. Yes, yes. And then you have the good doctor and the mother, and I think that's pretty much everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, and the younger versions of the
Right,
character.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So you talked a little bit about the role of music in the movie, and actually, while you were talking earlier, I thought of something a teacher told me a while back when I was in like grade school. But
Yeah.
if you try to watch a horror movie without audio, like it's not
That's
scary
true.
at all,
That's
you know.
true.
And so
Exactly.
you're definitely right in saying that music
Yeah.
does add a lot to the movie,
Yeah.
and a lot more than maybe some people realize. So why don't you talk a little bit about the soundtrack of
Yeah.
the movie and the
Yeah.
role that music played to
Yeah.
to tell
Definitely.
your story?
Well, before going into the soundtrack, there's something you mentioned about the main character being Sammy. Usually, the main character is defined as the character that the story revolves around, right? So, if you want to take the movie without the last two scenes, Sammy is definitely the main character. But if you take the last two scenes where you realize all those are fake memories Adam is trying to put to himself, then you realize that the main character is actually Adam.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because the main characters, if you want the plural,
Sure.
the not the main characters, but the most important characters, if you want, are Sammy, Adam, and the Doctor, and each of them have a compelling story. Adam, the compelling story about him is how sad his story is. Like he did a mistake in his past, but instead of facing it right on, what he's doing, he went to a doctor who can help him, but he told him, no, okay, because of me, my mother and my brother died. I want you to give me fake memories where my brother, he's the one who caused my mom to die, and I'm just the support who's helping him along the way. There's something scary and extremely selfish about it, but it makes for a compelling story.
Mm.
For Sammy, it's just his journey about in overcoming his guilt or his problem. It's not the guilt, the problem. That's the issue. It's how he reacts to it. And we all have problems in our lives. It's just it's not the problems that are the problems. It's how we react to them. And it's Sammy's journey along the way that he learns that yeah, maybe he caused his mother to die, but it's where he goes from there that will decide who he really is.
Mhm.
And so Taddeo, the doctor, is the complete opposite of both of them. So Taddeo, there's a small scene where he says that his father took his life as well, and obviously he blames himself. But the difference is, while Adam, because of his guilt, tried to wants fake memories and is trying to put everything on Adam and is running away from the problem. The doctor Taddeo, because he felt guilty about his father dying, instead of blaming himself, he created time travel or memory implantation to help people in the same situation. And you see both end of the spectrums. Both people feel guilty, but one used it to help other people while the other is throwing his blame on others as well.
Sure.
And it really shows both ends of the spectrums. Now back to your question about soundtrack. There's most movies use a little instrumental music in the background, and I think that's really important. But you can see in my movie there's some actual music as well with lyrics similar to what Disney does, and I chose ones that really reflect what's happening. So the first lyric music that's there is between Sammy and his younger brother Thomas while they're bonding, and the story is just like nice. It gives you the impression that you have two very young friends bonding, becoming best friends with no worry in the world. So I added that while the visual supported that hey they're bonding. I knew this movie, ironically enough, from the movie Disney movie Luca. When Luca and Alberto were bonding, this movie played, and I think it's amazing if I use the same one
Okay.
in here. The second main music with lyrics is Past Lives. Most people know it, and I used it when when it all goes down, when Adam dies, when Sammy doesn't know what to do with his life. And the reason I chose this one is when I watch Instagram reels, many times when it's an emotional story or a sad story, this music plays.
Right.
So for many people, this music is already inked to something sad or something inspirational.
Right.
So I wanted to use what's already out there, what's already in the mind of people, and use it to my advantage. Now, two more musics I used. Can I say that? Musics? Is that cool?
Maybe like, so they're songs without lyrics is what you're going to say?
No. I'm just asking the plural of music. Is it musics?
I don't know if you can use it like that, but maybe just like tracks. Scores,
okay.
You know.
So there's two tracks with lyrics that I used. After that, the one that says, I don't know what it was. What the name is. Sometimes I believe, at times I'm rational. So that's the end. The end of the story, this of Sammy's story, not of the movie. The end of Sammy's story, and I think unlike the previous track, that's more personal to me. I believe the year was 2017, and I went to Lebanon, and I had an amazing summer, one of the best summers. And as I was preparing to go back to Canada to study and work, so to leave all that fun behind, this song keeps playing.
Okay.
So for me, the song represents, the end of one journey and the start of another journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it fit perfectly for Sammy. Towards the end, he understood that, hey, stop blaming other people, even stop blaming yourself, and it's what you do now that's gonna decide your future and who you really become. So
Right.
I used this song as the ending, and my favorite song is the one I used at the end with the credits, All Out of Love. If you listen to it, every single word matches what I'm trying to say. So
Okay.
you can think of it that way. It's like Max, that's the name of the actor. Adam trying to tell his mother everything he feels. So like, I'm out of love. What am I without you? So it's as if it's Adam speaking to his deceased mother. What am I without you? I know you're right for believing in for so long, and I wish I can go back and tell you that I felt that I was so wrong, and I wish you can come back and carry me home. Every single sentence, you can think of it as Max talking to his mother, and I think that's amazing. That's like a continuation of the story within the credits.
Right. Yeah. An epilogue.
Epilogue. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know if most movie directors usually put this much effort into selecting their songs and their scores.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like you definitely put a lot of effort into it. So, congrats.
Ironically enough, for this All Out of Love, I just heard it from, I think, someone's Instagram, probably Sami Zayn.
Okay.
And then he just used that song somewhere, and I kept playing the song. And then once I was in the shower, I'm like, wow, that song would be amazing if I use it in the movie. And then I started listening to lyrics, and like, oh my God, that's a gift from God. That's exactly what I need. And I used it.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
I guess you got pretty lucky there.
Thanks.
Okay. Are there any subtle themes or symbols in the movie that you hope viewers will pick up on upon closer examination?
Many. I'm not sure I can go into each one, but for example, the first few timelines, you see Adam always wearing green, and whenever you see the mother, she is wearing green. And the reason Adam is always wearing green is that because in her absence, he sees himself as the mother figure, as the person who Sammy needs. So this similar color palette mirrors that Adam is now taking on the role of the mother. Another thing is the color of Sammy's clothing. So he starts with light gray, and this is where he's at right now with his problems in life. And as he delves deeper into them, not solve them, as he messes them deeper, the problems, the shirt color becomes So he dark gray and then black. And then when he solves all his problem, he starts wearing white again.
Okay.
So the colors really, his t-shirt color really represents where he's at right now in his mind. There is another really good scene where Sammy and Adam are arguing, and Sammy had plastic sword and a shield because he was playing with his younger brother Thomas.
Mm.
And as they're fighting, whenever Sammy throws away the sword, he stops attacking in arguments, and then when he throws away the shield, he stops defending in his arguments and he starts listening.
Okay.
So,
Oh wow.
yeah, there are many things of those that I added around the movie. Those are the ones that come to mind. Oh yeah, there's in the parking lot. There's the thug who tells Sammy everything that happened is because of you. You're a failure. If it weren't for you, your mother wouldn't be here. And this guy really represents Sammy's conscious mind, all his guilt. And the moment he starts beating him up, it's representative of him beating that sound in his head that tells him you're a failure, you caused everything. And then from that moment on, he starts becoming better. So it's like a good imagery. Obviously, I'm not advocating for you to beat up people.
Sure.
But it's an imagery. It's as if he's beating up his subconscious, the mind that tells him you're a failure. It's all because of you. You messed up. That's an imagery. I think my inspiration for that was in The Lion King. So before Simba meets his reflection, he goes through a bunch of trees and forests and stuff. And the idea before that is that he's going through his subconscious, going back to his past.
Okay.
That's somewhat similar.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier as well, you have Adam's character who's behind the chain link fence.
That's Sammy's
almost
character.
Sammy,
Yeah.
sorry. That's almost symbolic of, the fact that he's, in a prison in his mind, and he's,
Exactly.
guilt-ridden and so on. So, it's pretty cool. I don't know that I picked up on any of those, but I know, I don't know if you've ever seen Breaking Bad, but I know they also play with a lot of the colors for the clothes that they're wearing.
Yeah.
So as Walter White gets deeper and deeper into the world of drugs, he starts wearing more and more yellow,
Nice.
stuff like that. And it's
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's different ways to communicate ideas. I guess less explicitly.
Yeah. Exactly. What's interesting is when I was in school and would read a sentence like the author would say, "The sky is blue," and the teacher would be like, saying the sky is blue, which means that it's relaxing. He doesn't see it as black. It's the day. It's awesome. I'm like, he just said it's blue. Why do you want to say that? But now that I went into it, I'm like, oh my God, no, maybe she's right. He said the sky is blue for a reason. Otherwise, why would he say the sky is blue?
Right. Yeah, so maybe sometimes there is meaning that's hidden, that's subtle, but maybe not always. Maybe the sky really is just blue.
I think sometimes people could always look into things in more details, but you just have to find the right balance. Don't overanalyze everything, but there are some things, if you think they make sense, they probably make sense. It's not random.
Right. You were talking earlier about schizophrenia, people finding meaning where there's no meaning at all, and maybe that's one pathological extreme of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know. I guess different directors have different they're not going to put as much effort as others into having subtle meanings scattered throughout the movie. So it's pretty cool to see that you've done all that.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the challenges of indie filmmaking.
Yeah.
So obviously you were a little bit limited with respect to the resources that you had. So why don't we talk a little bit about that? Can you share any specific challenges that you encountered,
of course,
during the filmmaking process and how you overcame them?
So for me, I definitely time wasn't on my side. Let me tell you about all the challenges. So in 2020, I did this short movie / video, The Unbreakable, 5 minutes. Then I wanted to write the script, so I wrote the 5-minute script. And initially, the plan was for me to film Rewind with my friends and family in Lebanon. So we shot the first scene, but I realized what I am looking for just wouldn't work in Lebanon.
Okay.
So I had to cancel slash postpone the movie from Lebanon to Canada. So I came to Canada and I changed the script a little bit because initially the script, my Lebanese friends and family, they don't have the standard white accent. So I made it, the script was tailored for, it would explain why they're speaking with a little bit of a weird accent. Why don't they just speak Arabic or something? And the reason was that the mother always wanted Sammy and Adam to speak English because that's the language of the world. Um, so after her death, Sammy would just speak English. He doesn't want to speak Arabic anymore because that's what his mother wanted.
Okay.
Anyway, when I came here, I changed the script a little bit. And again, I posted on a group for Ottawa actors. If someone is interested, I got a bunch of people, but for the role of Sammy, I only had one person who's interested. I wasn't a big fan of his audition. I'm like, okay, as a director, my goal for him to was to help him achieve, a high uh, standard in acting the role of Sammy.
Right.
But when we started, I mean, he told me he had 3 years of acting experience, like he did theater, blah blah blah, and he's really excited for the movie. He texts me often that he's excited, blah blah blah. He's checking the script, but when he comes, it's clear he hasn't even looked at the script. He doesn't know who his character is. He hasn't tried to memorize or understand anything. We would sit and waste a lot of time trying to do that, and the acting was just horrible. I don't want to talk trash about anyone, but the acting, like, it's there's I don't know if there's no effort into it, but it's just so shallow. Um, I didn't want to cancel it. We kept going for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but part of me was really scared of looking at the footage, so I wouldn't look at the footage. I'd be like, I check them out later. But one day after 2 3 weeks, I had to, and I looked, and I'm like, is that what my movie? Is that what I want my movie to look like? And the answer was obviously no. So I had to make a tough decision to once again cancel slash postpone the movie. And yeah, we didn't continue with this actor. So moving forward, I posted again about this movie and I put in more details about the synopsis. And thankfully, someone texted me and he said, "Hey, I'm not an actor, but I'm the owner slash CEO of what was it called? Casting workbook or something like that. And this is where big production companies put in their casting calls. So he told me, I'm gonna give you free access, put in your movie because I think that's a great idea. So I put in my like, hey, I need someone to play the role of Sammy on that website. I got much more auditions. The best one was Cody, and he told me he's interested, but I checked his profile. He's in Calgary, so I told him, I'm interested in having you if you would audition, because he had all the right physical information.
Okay.
I just needed an audition, but the fact that he was in Calgary, so I told him we're in Ottawa. Is that a problem? He's like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna be in Ottawa either way for like 2 or 3 months. So I'm like, awesome. With your audition, he auditioned. It was a very good audition. So I'm like, okay, we'll do it. How long are we staying in Ottawa? He said 2 to 3 months. Okay. I made sure that we filmed everything within 2 to 3 months. And yeah, that was the biggest challenge, is that when you don't have a lot to pay actors, or sometimes nothing at all, not many not many good people would want to do it. So I've been blessed that I had a cast of amazing actors. Like, I can think of one bad actor in this movie, but it's always hard to find good actors when you have limited resources.
Right.
And then there's the time constraint, since it's not very professional. Well, I mean, since it's not budgeted work. So, let's say there's a scene that needs 5 people. It's really, really hard to get 5 people at the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Someone might cancel, might get sick, might many problems. So there's always the problem of getting a bunch of people, same place, same time, without proper audio equipment. Filming outdoors can cause some problems as well, but that was not problem in my case. First of all, there wasn't a lot of outdoor scenes.
Right.
Second of all, I had good equipment. And one more thing I wanted to say, yeah, time constraints. So basically, we needed to film everything before Cody leaves. And one thing that added more time is that usually I believe, and I'm not sure, in professional movies, let's say there's a conversation like between you and me, there's a camera to do a two shot, and then there's a camera for close up and another camera to close up on the other person.
Right.
In my case, we only had one camera, so each scene we had to shoot it at least 3 times. One from the first angle, the second one from a different angle,
Right.
the third one from the third angle. Those are some of the challenges.
Okay. Yeah. So did you say that you guys had to shoot the whole movie in 2 to 3 months, or just the scenes with Cody?
Well, almost all the scenes have Cody.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, so basically only the car scenes we shot them after Cody left, because it's just between the mother and young Sammy,
Right.
So Stephanie and Simon,
Right.
and one scene with Zach, Simon's brother. But yeah, otherwise all the scenes that are relating to Sammy, Adam, Tadio, everything except the car scene, we had to shoot them while Sammy was here,
Right.
while
Well,
Cody was here.
that's I don't know if you'd call it a bit of a gamble to have an actor who's only in town for a couple of months and have him be like one of the main characters.
That's the thing. You can tell if someone is passionate about it or not. He was passionate. We needed an extra 1 week. He was able to push his trip to Calgary 1 week. So he was flexible, but at the same time, I didn't want to keep him for an extra 1 or 2 months.
Yeah.
So no, we were good on time. Like at one point, I think one of the actors was scared they had COVID, so we couldn't film for 2 months, but we compensated it. So we shot more than once a week, which was the usual schedule.
Right.
So there's always a way around it if you have people who are motivated and who are very interested in this film and they want it to work.
Yeah, I mean, I like to organize outings with friends, and I know it's not always easy to have people's schedules align, and
Exactly.
I can imagine, a group of actors like that. It's especially if they're not full-time actors, like in the profession, it's a bit of a challenge to
Exactly.
try to schedule all that.
Yeah.
So, well, you made it work. So
We made it work.
Okay. We talked a little bit about that, but maybe you can talk about more instances where you had to make difficult decisions or sacrifices in order to keep the project on track.
So when I told the actor, hey, like,
the first actor that
the first actor who
Sammy.
played Sammy, that was hard. Well, it was hard telling him, because even though I don't think he was really into the movie, or he was doing it I think he was doing it from the heart, but he wasn't giving it the effort it needs.
Right.
Yeah, it was hard to tell him, hey, we won't be moving forward with you. I didn't even tell him that directly. I told him I'm making a bunch of changes to the character of Sammy.
Okay.
And I kept telling him that, hey, I'm making big changes, until he got the information that those changes won't align with who he is. That was hard. So obviously I did it in the best way I thought possible. But yeah, the more difficult decision was to cancel the movie a second time and then check in with different actors. And so we had to postpone the movie 2-3 months, and I wasn't even sure that like the rest of the actors would be available, whether it's Tati or let's say Daniel or Max or any of the other actors. There was that. Another thing was that for the young man Thomas, initially I didn't know anyone around the age of like 7, 8, or 9.
Right.
I had no idea. So I had 2 profs who had kids this age. So I asked them both, the first person told me, yeah, my son would be really interested, but when he realized it's not like he thought it's a 30-minute role. When he realized like we need him for a few days,
Right.
told me, I don't mind. His mother won't let him, so we couldn't do that. And
Right.
then for my other prof, he's like, yeah, my son would like to do it as well, but a few days before, he told me like he got sick or something, so we couldn't do it, and we couldn't wait because we were short on time.
Right.
So I asked the mother of my friend if she knew people, and she had a lot of connections. So she gave me a person. I told her we need someone, and I gave them the information. And over 3 people auditioned.
Okay.
They were all amazing, but I needed to choose one more. So the hardest part for me, I think, was to tell the parents of these young men, we won't be moving forward with this. It just hurts my heart.
Yeah.
And they were all good as well, but yeah.
So I guess as a director, you sometimes have to have difficult conversations with people.
Yeah, sometimes it's not like when with people my age or around my age, it's fine. I tell them it's like when you get refused from a job. You have an impressive resume. Unfortunately, we decided not to move forward.
Yeah.
It's fine. We hear that all the time. But I don't know. With kids, they're doing this obviously for everyone does it for passion, but they're just getting started. I don't know. I don't like to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're going into acting, you have to expect some rejection, and you have to learn how to deal with it.
Definitely.
So, yeah, definitely not fun to be on the other end of rejection.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh well. Can you share a moment or achievement during the production that you're particularly proud of?
So one thing about me is that I enjoy the most the pre-production when I write the story, simply because I'm writing a journey, but I'm on that journey as well, and I decide where that journey goes. It's somewhat like a lucid dream, but even more. So what I like the most is pre-production. So during the production and post-production, I never get that joy of it until the movie is totally done and I make people watch it and they give me good feedback. Like, yeah, that movie helped me. It made me think of something like you did tell me that that gave me a moment of achievement. But I think when I edited the last scene, when the car crash happens and the song "All Out of Love" started playing, I'm like, oh my god, that was awesome. I think that I did something in that ending here. I felt that sense of accomplishment. Um, Lesser senses of accomplishment was when Cody, the actor for Sammy, left again for Calgary. It felt like he came, we did what we had to do, we did even better, and then now he's going. It all worked out because, as you said, it's a little bit of a gamble, especially after canceling the movie twice, but it all worked out.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You still do you stay in touch with the actors?
Yeah.
You still talk to them?
Almost everyone.
Yeah. That's good. I bet they're excited for the movie to be published.
Yeah, and that's something I'm ashamed of myself. I kept they've been waiting for over 2 years, and I keep telling them, yeah, soon, 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 soon. And this soon isn't coming, but soon.
Yeah. Well, as I've been editing my podcast videos since I started, and so I understand, how time consuming video editing can be, and so I'm assuming, would that be the longest part of post production, video editing?
Definitely. I finished editing the whole thing. Now I made my mom and sister watch it. They told me it's amazing, great story, blah blah blah. Except that there are some scenes that are too long and they drag. So now I brought the movie from 2 hours to 1 hour and a half.
Okay.
And I think they're right. There were a lot of scenes that there was just conversation for nothing. It's too repetitive.
Right.
So next up, I'm gonna add the transitions. So now each scene is separate. So I need to put them together. Then color correction. So those should take very little time. And then the part that scares me is the sound cleaning. There are some hissing in the background, and some sound cleaning that I need to do. I've never done it before. I know there are AI tools, so if the AI tools work, that's gonna be perfect.
Right.
If they don't, and I have to do it manually, then I'll need to figure something out.
Mhm. Yeah, it's funny because you had warned me before I watched this. So I watched the movie with my girlfriend, and you had told me, when you gave me the movie, you're like, by the way, there's one scene in which you can hear my voice, and I knew it was coming,
Yeah.
but my girlfriend didn't, and so at some point you just have a character like knocking on a door,
Yeah.
and then you just hear
Knock
again. My girlfriend was like, "Who was that?" I told her, I'm like, "Oh, you're hearing voices," but no, I told her it was you.
Yeah, obviously.
So
but no, that's not the problem. Me removing the voice, that's the easy part.
Right.
It just, I don't know. I feel like the sound could be cleaner.
Okay.
We'll see.
You said color correction. What would be wrong with the color right now?
No. For now, it's good. So it just doesn't feel like a movie. So, for example, the depressed scenes, you want to make them more blue, something like that. Like if you've seen The Dark Knight, there's some big color corrections for the scenes. So for now, the color, the movie you've seen, the colors you saw are the right colors. But obviously, in movie we also change colors to fit with the mood and everything.
Applying some filters.
Exactly.
Okay. Out of curiosity, what software do you use for video editing?
So I need to use Adobe Premiere, but I don't. I use Sony Vegas because that's the software I used. Well, now it's not called Sony Vegas anymore. It's just Vegas by Magix. But that's the software I used for my very first movie, Juice, and I didn't have any reason to change it. So I kept using it. For the effects, Adobe After Effects. This movie doesn't have a ton of effects, but sometimes I need to use a scene and there's like the actor's hand on the way because he's talking, but I need to remove that. So I use Adobe After Effects to do some of that. But it's mainly just Sony Vegas.
I see. Yeah, I use Premiere Pro for my videos, but Adobe software isn't cheap either. So I've been thinking about like getting an editor to do things for me. And obviously, I'm not an expert. Like I didn't study this, and so it's it may be more worthwhile for me to just hire somebody to do it that has the experience and the tools and so on.
Yeah, might be a good idea. For me, the way I shot the movie, I think, and I don't know because I've never worked with an editor, but I think if I gave it to someone, he won't give me what I have in mind.
Right.
Might as well do it myself.
Yeah.
But for you, it's different. I think it's a podcast, so there's not a lot of deviations you can go through.
Right.
Unless I'm mistaken. I don't know.
No. I mean, I would say, as a movie director, you probably have a lot more, more of an incentive for creative control of the final product. Like, obviously, I mean, especially because, some people, like sometimes you see a movie and you have like one writer and then somebody else is the director and somebody else is, but you're doing all of those things. You're writing the movie, directing, producing. So obviously it's pretty clear that you have a vision for the story and, you want to bring the vision to life and you want it to look a certain way.
Exactly.
It may be true for me as a podcast host, but probably to a much lesser degree. Probably not the same order of magnitude, for sure, but
maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, for me, what's important in the podcast is the audio. So, I've obviously, invested in this, and camera is like, I was talking to you, I want to get a webcam at some point, but for me, video editing, it's more like a secondary aspect of my podcast.
No, I think investing in a microphone is amazing, whether it's for podcast or for movies as well. Like you ask many people, what's the most important thing in a movie that you don't want to mess up? They told you sound.
Did you have boom operators with microphones?
Yes.
Okay, it's funny.
Why?
Well, I don't know. It always seems a little bit silly, but I mean, I guess that it's important. But I guess you've invested a lot into this movie.
A lot time, I guess money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I did.
You bought a camera for this movie as
Well,
well.
I bought camera before that for the cancelled movie, The Funhouse,
Right.
during COVID. So
I
yeah,
see.
I bought a 4K camera. It was the cheapest 4K camera I found. I'm not shy to say it. Like on a budget. So
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you hope audiences will take away from watching this movie?
That's quite the question. So
Million dollar question.
yeah. So one thing I like about movies is that people can take away whatever they want. So there are many messages I try to send. Many of them are for people who have like guilt. They can't see in real life what the other alternatives could be. In this movie with time travel, we explore some different alternatives. But at the end of the day, it's really big how life is gonna have a lot of problems. Some of them small, some of them huge problems. It's your reaction to them that's gonna decide who you become, who your friends become, who the world around you becomes. Um, Again, to give the example, the doctor, he thinks it's because of him that his dad died. Because of that, he became a doctor and he's helping people out. That's why in the timeline where his dad doesn't die, he's just at the beginning. He has a smaller office. He just tested time travel on rats. He's still conservative. In the timeline, his dad died. He's doing much more. Like it's a little philosophical. People talk about war. It's a horrible thing. I hate war. I wish not a single war would ever happen again. But without World War One or World War Two, we wouldn't be in the current medical and engineering advancements that we're in right now. Because during war, you needed to encode and decode a lot of messages, more medical advancements and stuff. So it's somewhat similar here when Tadio, the doctor's father, died. He blamed himself, so he went in a direction that he wants to help people. Whereas Sammy, he just shut everyone shut everyone down, and he's causing troubles for his younger brother, and not and he's not having a good life.
Right.
The other part is that's more subtle is more towards a religious aspect about God. And I read there was someone who posted a question online, and he's like, for all the atheists, why don't you believe in a God? And most the answers were along the line of there's a lot of bad things happening in the world, and we cannot see how a supposed good God will allow all these things to happen.
Right.
And I wanted to challenge that point of view. There are some evil things that happen in the world, but at one point we should stop blaming God and blame ourselves. War are not made by God; they're made by nations against nations and people against people.
Right.
God, from a religious point of view, God gave us everything. He gave us water, minerals, iron, wood, everything. Then it's up to us whether we want to use those tools to build a community and help each other, or to use it to create destruction and kill people around us. So that's why you see at the beginning, Sammy, he tells Adam what kind of God would allow that accident to happen. So it's at the beginning, he's just blaming everything on a God. And then he learns to realize that accidents will happen. And then it's how you react to it. Like in the Quran, chapter 2, verse 155, God does say, "We will surely test you with fear and with loss of wealth and with hunger and with loss of lives and with loss of fruits, and we'll see and give good tidings to those who have patience." Bad things will happen to you. It's how you react to it that's gonna change. And again, I see many people arguing about God when they don't know the definition of God. So let's say you and me, we want to talk about The Dark Knight, right? The movie, The Dark
Sure.
Knight by
Yep.
Christopher Nolan. For us to have a productive conversation about The Dark Knight, I need to have watched it and you need to have watched it.
Mhm.
I can't talk about it with you if you haven't seen it. You just hear people talk about it. I have to have seen it. You have to have seen it. But what I feel is that people don't try to read any book that's supposedly from God. They just see what's out there and make up their own conclusion about who God is and try to apply that. And it says it doesn't match with the world we live in right now, therefore he doesn't exist. The example I always give is, let's say on Earth a book appeared that says by alien. It's an alien who sent it.
Okay.
Will we believe it? I don't know. Maybe it's from an alien, maybe not. But what I know and what I think most people would do is take that book, read it, and then come up to their own conclusion whether it's by an alien or it's just a sad human who just wrote it and claims to be an alien.
Sure.
That's the same for me when it comes to the concept of God. If you want to argue about God, read a book that's supposed to be from God. For me, it's the Quran because it's the latest edition. For me, it's the Injil, the Torah. It was all at one point from God, but the quote unquote latest edition is the Quran. So I read it, and so I have an idea of who God is, and then I can talk to people about that. But many people, what they do right now is that they just have this idea that God is good without reading anything that God tried to tell us, and they just argue about him. So I'm just trying to challenge this whole idea. At the beginning of the movie, also Adam says to Sammy, God will not burden a person with more than he can bear. And that's another verse in the Quran, and it further proves the point about it's really how you react to the thing, whether you put yourself in a bigger problem than it is or in less of what it is. So it's I had much more religious references in the movie, but I had to remove some of them because a lot of times it killed the flow of the movie. Like it's a story, but then we go deep into it, and I'm like, it's good content, just not the right time.
Okay.
Not the right time. It just kills the flow.
Okay. Yeah, you touched on a couple of topics there. I want to see, which direction we want to go in. There's a couple of doors that you opened. The problem of evil. That's I think one of the hardest challenges that religious folks have to deal with. Not saying that it's impossible to argue against, but just to give our listeners, if some people aren't familiar with it, the problem of evil is the idea that if we live in a universe in which a God is all powerful, all knowing, and all good, so omnibenevolent, omnipresent, and omniscient, how come that there is suffering that exists in the world? Is he, does he know that there is suffering, but he can't do anything against it? In which case he's not omniscient, or omnipresent, omnipotent. That's the one. Or is he not aware of the suffering, but he could fix it if he knew it? In which case, he's not omniscient. He's not all-knowing. And it sounds like the answer to this problem to you is something like there's a meaningful distinction between evil, like we have free will as human beings would be your argument, definitely. And some suffering on the planet is caused by humans and isn't by God. Is that fair?
Well, to answer the question, yeah, the suffering, some of it could be from God, like earthquakes, and that some suffering is from God.
Okay.
Some people is definitely human made, like wars and all that, tortures. Now, God, he's all knowing, so he knows this will happen, and he can do something about it, and he doesn't do something about it. Why? I cannot explain why, but what I do know is that at the end of the day, the way we think about it, we live here, I don't know, 70, 80, 90, 100 years, sometimes more, sometimes less. And the afterlife is infinite. So mathematically speaking, 100 compared to infinite, it's like really, really, really small.
Right.
It's as if I tell you today, I'm gonna torture you for 1 millisecond. You'll feel all that pain for 1 millisecond, and then for the rest of your day, you'll have an amazing life. you'll probably say yes, that's fine if it's just 1 millisecond. But yeah, I'm saying God in the Quran, He does say that He will test us. How will He test us? Sometimes by evil things from Him, sometimes by evil things from other people. He also does mention that some people will cause you harm. Be patient. Um, yeah, for me, the way I think about it, He's all knowing. The evil comes from humans. You can interfere in it. He knows it's gonna happen. He keeps it like that. That's a way to test our patience, our belief. That's another thing. I feel like most people who, not most people, like I see the people where there's the blog and they say there's a lot of evil in the world. That's therefore someone, therefore God doesn't exist. Those are the people who have, in general, a good life. When they read about the wars and all these killings happen, they read about it on their phone or on their TV, but they have a good life. They have a bed, a house, and everything, but they disbelieve in a God because there's evil. But if you go to the people who are inflicted by that evil, the mother whose all children are dead, or the person who lost his family, or who is injured or handicapped because of an accident, those people are the firmest believers in a God and who turn the most towards God. But the people who didn't have that much pain in their life, but they just hear about the other's pain, those people, more of these people believe in a God than the people who are actually inflicted by that pain. And I think that's something that always amazed me when I see that comparison.
Okay. So on that note of the problem of evil, I would agree that if humans have free will and we inflict suffering on other people, then it's not, it's not God's fault.
Yeah.
But what would you say for, you talked a little bit about the suffering that we encounter that isn't caused by human beings. You talked about earthquakes and tsunamis, and I mean, wouldn't that be a problem for the person that believes that God is all knowing, all good,
Yep.
and all powerful?
Then it really depends on your faith. And again, that's what I was mentioning in the Quran, chapter 2, verse 155. Um, the God says again that we're gonna test you with fear and hunger and loss of lives and loss of fruits and loss of money. At one point, you're gonna be tested with the loss of that. And he continues, he's saying, give good tidings to to those who are patient. When a catastrophe inflicts them, they just say, we are to God and to Him we're gonna return. So basically, keep your faith in Him. It's not blind faith. It's just when you read, like in my case, the Quran, you'll understand why everything happens. Some of them is punishment for the bad people. Some of them is a test for the good people. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm a TA. Hopefully, I'll be a professor. Let's say I'm teaching a class, and I want to check if they need to pass or not. I need to give them a final exam. Final exam that tests their knowledge. Final exam that causes pain. That is challenge for someone. For some, it's torture. But going through that challenge, I know if I'm all knowing, I don't need it. But they'll know too, within that test, that challenge, that torture, if they deserve, how much they understand the material, or how much they understand the material, or how lost they will be. So in the case of, again, a catastrophe like the one that happened in Turkey, I don't know of a single person who said, oh my God, my house, I lost my house and my family in the earthquake. I hate God. Why did He do that? The firmest believer, they said what they said, what it says in the Quran. We are to God, and for Him we're gonna go back. This is God's will. It happened for a reason, or it that I might understand, or I might not understand. But that's how it is for now. At the end of the day, we're gonna live here. We're gonna eventually die. He knows we're patient. We're gonna get hopefully rewarded after.
Right. So something like an earthquake or cancer or what happened in Turkey may not be readily explained, but presumably there's a rationale that isn't available to us.
Yes, the way I think about it is, let's talk math numbers.
Sure.
5 times 5, 25. 7 times 7, 49. 2 times 100, 200. Now let's talk about infinity. 1 times infinity, okay, infinity. Now infinity minus infinity, problem, we don't know. 0 times infinity, problem, we don't know. Whenever we start dealing with infinity, there are some things we don't know because we're finite beings, we cannot understand infinite. It's the same with humans. We're finite beings, we cannot understand infinite. It's let's say you have a dog. Sometimes he sees us do stuff. I don't know, like watching TV or playing games,
Sure.
or I don't know, doing things like let's say two kids are playing with action figures and they doing like ta ta ta. The dog doesn't understand it because he's not on the same level of intelligence as us,
Mhm.
and that's the same explanation I would give. We're a finite being, God would be an infinite being. There are some things that we definitely can't explain, there are some things that we are able to explain. Some things that we usually can't explain are mentioned in the books of God, some things are not. It's a combination of learning about God and being patient that that helps the belief. For me, the reason I believed in God is not because I was born into it, and it's not because I'm optimistic and every time there's a catastrophe I say, "Oh, that's from God." The reason I believed is that as I was reading the Quran, I realized there are so many scientific evidence that people at that age could not have known. Many things, like the fact, you know how clouds move, right? Like why they move, what causes them to move.
Would it be the wind?
Exactly,
Okay.
the wind. You know, I assume, easy question, does the sun move?
Sure it does.
What about the moon?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we just saw an eclipse the other day. It's pretty cool.
Exactly, exactly. So there are so many of these scientific things, like clouds moving because of the sun moving, moon moving. They're all out there. Another question: when we lie, what part of our brain gets activated?
uh, Prefrontal cortex. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the
Yeah.
frontal lobe.
Okay.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
Quran does say, when he talks about liars, he says the liars will seize them by their frontal lobe. There are so many. I know I just said 4 or 5 examples. There's much more that when I look at them, I'm like, there's no way some random person wrote about all these scientific evidences back then. Now, the argument I hear often is that some people knew that information, and that's correct. Some people would know knew that information, but at the same time, there was so many information they thought they knew, but that was wrong. But then I see in the Quran, it's only the right information that was filtered and the wrong information that was taken away. So if it was just someone talking about science or astrology or whatever back then, if you don't know which one is right or wrong, then you're just gonna put both or don't put any. But I feel that it's fascinating when you only put the right things that humans only come to discover years and years and years later. Again, many other things like more the moon doesn't have its own light, many things that I can get into. Another thing is that the Quran gives a challenge, like just in the third or fourth page, he says, God says in the Quran, hey, if you don't think this Quran is from a God, just produce a chapter similar to it. So the shortest chapter in the Quran is a line and a half.
Okay.
So just write a chapter that's similar to the Quran, and if you are able to, then this book is a fraud. It's not from God. Needless to say, for 1400 years, people have tried and they couldn't. I think the book that the closest book that came to do it is called the True Furqan, and that's rated like 1.8 or 2 out of 5 on BookReads. It has really bad reviews, not from Muslims, because it's an attempt to create something that that's just not there. So for me, the Quran has a lot of scientific miracles, these challenges, mathematical miracles. There's just so many mathematical miracles, astrology and biology, many things that when I came there as an engineer, as a man of science, I'm like, okay, there's no way this is made by a human. It has to be by a bigger entity. Now, in this book, the bigger entity is called God. I don't mind believing that. Yeah.
Okay. On the scientific accuracy of the Quran, I'm not super familiar with those examples that you gave me. Is it possible? I mean, I think you've seen the episode. Well, my last podcast episode that I did with my friend Casey. I think that with any complex book, which I would say the Quran probably is, and the Bible definitely is, it's very open to interpretation.
Yeah.
And as Jordan Peterson would say, you can't get an uninterpreted version of the book.
Okay.
Like you have to read it, you have to interpret it. And so for those scientific points that you made, I would be curious to see if those verses would be a little bit more metaphorical than meant to be taken literally.
Yeah, I'll talk about a few. So there's one that says talks about the Big Bang. It literally says very clearly. Thankfully, I know Arabic, so I don't have to deal with bad translation and all of that.
Sure.
Everything. Okay, I'm already mistranslating, but everything was one unit, and then. Okay, I can't translate that properly. Let's take another one. We know that the universe is expanding. The Quran says word by word, and the universe, we're expanding it. The word is called musion. Musion, we still use it in Arabic. It means expanding, getting larger. And for the one I told you about, no, it says the liars, al-kadhibun, the liars, will seize them by the frontal lobe. It's direct. There are some things that aren't direct, which I agree with you. Like some people say that that the Quran says the earth is spherical because there is a verse that says dahaha, and it comes from the word duhya, which is like the shape of the ostrich egg, which is similar to the planet Earth. I think that's good. I think just like you told me about the movie, sometimes I say things people might think they're thinking too much into it, but it's not. I don't usually give indirect ones. I give examples that are, direct. So the one I just told you, here's another indirect verse. So it says, as for the modes of transportation, we created or subjected to you donkeys, and I don't know. God says three modes of transportations, which are animals.
Okay.
And I read that verse, and I'm like, it would have been amazing if he mentioned something like cars or airplanes, and God is all knowing, so why wouldn't he? I read the verse again, and it says, for modes of transportations, you have donkeys and all that, and God will create what you don't know of yet. I'm like, okay, wow, that's amazing. For me, that's indirect. That's why I don't give those examples. But we can, either now or after the podcast, I can show you there are some things that are not even open for interpretation, that they're very direct.
Okay.
There are some things that aren't direct, and there are some things that are direct.
Okay.
What I try to look for is things, whether direct or indirect, mainly try to think of things that are direct, that contradict with science right now. I can't find those, which for me that's enough proof. But I hear your comment often, like, what if we're interpreting it in a different way? Some verses are open for interpretation. Some of them are as direct as "Hi, how are you?" And I usually, when I have this conversation with a friend, I only talk about the direct verses. Right. The other ones will be open for interpretations.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Whenever you want to show me those direct verses.
Oh, it's up to you. Do you want to do it now or later?
It doesn't take too much time. Maybe find one or two examples.
Sure.
Um, there's a few more things you mentioned earlier. You said so that one. So I realized that the movie had some explicit references to God. Not a lot that
Yeah.
I noticed personally, but you mentioned earlier there was one verse from the Quran that I didn't realize it was something like life is only going to give you things you're capable of bearing.
Yes.
Um, that's a line. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's a line that I've heard in a TV series called Smallville.
Yeah.
You're gonna laugh. It's a like Superman series.
Yeah.
And, it seems to me that you know the movie, or sorry, the TV show doesn't like. It's not really religious
Uh-huh.
by any stretch of the imagination. It has some parallels that you can point to like a superhuman being, but it seems to me that the idea that life only gives you what you're capable of taking on,
Uh-huh.
that seems to be a truism that transcends religion on some level. And so even though it's something that you would find in the Quran, if you find it in the Quran, for me it's not necessarily proof that it would be validation of the divinity of the book.
Definitely. I never use that as proof. The proof I use for me as a man of science are the scientific proofs. The other things, for example, that you'll be tested with fear, hunger, and stuff, I use that for something else too. When people ask me about evil or I can't take this anymore, if someone is a believer, I can talk to him about these verses. But to prove the existence, yeah, obviously, I cannot use that.
Okay.
So basically in chapter 21, verse 13, direct, it just says, the heavens and the earth were joined together as one unit before we clove them asunder.
Before we
clove them, CLOVE.
Okay, I'm not sure what that word means.
Okay, so specific definition.
Heaven and earth will be joined together.
Okay, clove them as a verb is split, basically.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Verb.
Yeah, let's do another one.
So, sorry, are you saying that this is direct evidence of the scientific accuracy of the Quran?
One of. So, obviously, if it's just 1, 2, 3, or 4, it's not enough. But when you have more than one, so for me, this is direct reference to the Big Bang. And when you have a few talking about astronomy, a few talking about embryology, a few talking about plants, all those they come together, and for me, yes, it would give scientific proof.
So heaven and earth will be split.
Okay, so heaven, is always translated as heaven. So
okay.
What they mean, like if you read the Arabic thing, heaven is the sky. They always translate it as heaven, but it says the heavens and sky were one unit, and then it was split.
Okay.
And that's mainly the Big Bang theory, how the whole thing was one unit, and then the Big Bang happened.
Sure. Okay. I mean, I know, like, let's see. For a book like the Bible, what some people don't realize is that you have a plethora of genres, because the Bible isn't just one book; it's a collection of books, and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And so that's a point that the biblical scholar Bart Ehrman makes pretty often, is that even William Lane Craig. I mean, you have one book that's a wisdom book, and one book that's more poetic, and one book that's a little bit more literal and historical, and so on. So when I hear a verse like that, I'm wondering if it wasn't meant to be taken, metaphorically, and then it's a little bit tempting for us with our scientific knowledge to say, well, this is clearly a reference to the Big Bang, when in reality maybe it wasn't the intention of the author.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How would tell me what define Big Bang for me in one sentence?
Well, I'm not a scientist, but
in your words,
the Big Bang would be the beginning moment of the universe, first moment of the universe.
Okay, well let's Google Big Bang definition. Okay. It is the idea that the universe began as just a single point, then expanded and stretched to grow as large as it is right now, and it's still stretching.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Sorry, I realized I didn't say that, but
yeah. Well, we take that. It is the idea that the universe began as a single point, which is what it says. The skies and like everything was a single unit, and then we separated them. So here it says we expanded and stretched them, and the verse, I think, the verse that follows. And then the different chapter that says it says the skies we have built them with power, and verily we are expanding it. So I know I see what you're saying. That I see what you're saying. It's just that I just gave you the verse itself.
Sure.
You need to read the whole context to see no that's what it is talking about. And sometimes God Himself tells you at the beginning of the chapter, in this chapter I'm gonna give you signs right away.
Okay.
Right away. So here is what I always urge people that when I started reading the Quran, I'm like, oh my God, this is not the God I expected. This is not the God people tell me about. It's different. The Quran has a distinct way of speaking, or and a distinct way of writing.
Okay.
That once you read through it, you'll understand when it's a scientific verse, when it's a wisdom verse, everything. You mentioned the Bible. For the Quran, it's one book, and it has, as you said, wisdom, scientific evidence, and everything. But I think once someone starts reading, then he can pick up on these things. If they're true, the thing I always tell people, I tell them, all I'm saying is that, as far as I'm concerned, I see a lot of scientific facts in the Quran. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. The only way to know is for you to read part of it and then make your own conclusion. I don't want to force anyone into any religion. Actually, that's even prohibited in Islam. You cannot. There is no compulsion in Islam, so you cannot force anyone to join the religion unless they want to. Okay. But all I can do is that ever since I started reading, many things scholars didn't see. So usually I'm just writing the Quran, I'm writing a story, and then I myself see the scientific evidence. Sure. See?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thinking about that point in particular, about the Big Bang, knowledge of the Big Bang being found in the Quran, I can imagine a Christian, sitting right there and talking about the book of Genesis, and the first lines of the book of Genesis, and saying how, at first there was nothing, and then there was the creation of the heavens and the earth, and then there was man, and the 6-day creation story. And I can just imagine somebody from a different faith using a different book, but the same argument, saying, well, look, this is clearly, you can find knowledge of the Big Bang in my book, and so therefore,
that is true. In Islam, we believe what many people don't know is that they think Islam is a totally independent religion from Christianity, totally independent religion from Judaism, all of that. We believe in everything. We believe that Moses, peace be upon him, was a prophet, and God sent him a book. And then God sent Jesus, peace be upon him, a book. And then He sent Prophet Muhammad a book. The things in the Bible, we believe that at one point, this was God's word. So if someone comes with the Torah and says, my book also says that, I will I agree 100%, because some Muslims say that the reason God revealed the Quran, the latest edition, is that all of those were His words, but then people started adding their own stuff to them. Okay. So let's say this is true. People added their own stuff to them. It doesn't mean it's all wrong. We never denied that stuff. There are some things that's true that are the word of God, and as some Muslims say, there are some people that added stuff to it that renders it that doesn't make it a proper book anymore.
Right. It's been
So
corrupted.
yeah, corrupt if you want. So basically, it's like saying, okay, I'm gonna give you a math book about calculus. Everything is correct, but then I decided to add a formula 5 = 2. That ruins the whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
That's the way we think about it. But
Okay.
no, in Islam, God clearly mentions in the Quran that he sent Moses, peace be upon him, a book and everything. So we believe in all the previous messengers and the previous books.
Okay.
Just that there's this question of corruption that needed the extra edition.
Right.
Now you might ask me, would God not know that it would be corrupted? And like, if he's all knowing, why did he allow it to be corrupted? The beautiful thing is, many Muslims say that in the Torah and the Injil, it says that another book, another prophet will come and will be revealed. And in the Quran, it says this is the last book that's going to be revealed, and we, as in God, will protect it. We will protect it ourselves.
Okay.
So answers your question that doesn't God know that, hey, it's going to be corrupted, it's going to need a new edition? Yes, he knows, and he actually mentioned that.
Right. So, are you saying in the Bible it mentions that? Because like I'm not a Bible scholar, but I'd be interested in knowing if that's what you're saying, if that's what it says in the Bible.
That's the thing. I cannot speak about the Bible because I haven't read it, and I don't like to talk about things I haven't read. But what I can say is that many Muslim scholars, they do say that the Bible does mention the coming of a second prophet, or of another prophet, and then the Torah mentions the coming of another prophet.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this. So, would it be true to say that, I'm not trying to trap you here, I really want to understand. It's my understanding that Muslims don't believe that Jesus rose from the dead. Is that fair?
Yeah, so for us, we believe he never died. God lifted him to him.
Okay.
He never suffered or anything. That's one of the main differences between us and Christians, and I think that's what Christians say. I'm not speaking on their behalf. I just think I might be wrong.
Sure.
They think that Jesus, peace be upon him, died for their sins. We believe that no, Jesus didn't die for anyone's sin. God lifted him up so that he doesn't feel pain or torture or anything. And as far as sins go, we're humans, we sin. If you knew it's a sin and you regret it, you just ask for repentance and God is going to forgive you. As simple as that. But yeah, one of the main differences is that, well, the very main difference is that they believe in the concept of Trinity, right. And we don't believe that. We believe that God is one, separate from Jesus, peace be upon him. We just see him as a prophet, just like Moses, just like Prophet Muhammad. That's the difference between us and them. And yeah, they believe that Jesus died on the cross. We believe that God raised him up to him.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Because I was going to say, you kind of answered my question there, but I was going to say, because earlier it sounded like you were saying that the Bible, in addition to the Quran, really was a book that was, written by God. And so I was going to say, how can you believe that if, you don't believe that Jesus was, not a Messiah, but risen from the dead? But it sounds like you do believe that he was at least in part divine.
No, not divine, messenger of God. So basically, we believe many things the Christian do. We believe that he was born miraculously without any male intervention, and we believe that he gave life to the dead with the help of God. We believe that he most if not all of the miracles that Christians believe, we believe in that too.
Okay.
Just those few differences.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but no, like, here's a cool fact. Jesus, peace be upon him, is mentioned, I believe, 25 times in the Quran, and Prophet Muhammad just 5 times, and Moses 125 times. So Prophet the least mentioned between these three is Prophet Muhammad.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've heard there's a lot of, I don't know as much about the Quran, but I know from what I heard, even in the Bible, the book of Numbers, there's some interesting mathematics related to the structure of the book and the content. And I don't know. I had a friend that was don't talk to him anymore, but he used to be like very into the Bible and
Yeah.
so on, and he would spot like patterns within patterns within patterns, like in the book of Numbers.
Yeah.
And well, kind of like what we were saying earlier, it's, I guess it may not always be easy to see, as mere humans, where there is no meaning, like where I see meaning where there's no actual meaning, and venturing off into, because obviously if you think that a book like the Bible or the New Testament is from God, then maybe you'd be tempted into saying that you see things that aren't really there, and the things that you see that aren't really there, they're only there because it had to be written by the creator of the universe.
No, that's the thing. That's the reason so before that I would, like, now I gave you 3 or 4 scientific proofs. Usually I would say a lot and a lot and a lot, but what I realized because of this argument, I just give an introduction why I believed. I started reading the Quran, and I was in a point in my life where my family, yeah, they believed in God, but I didn't know where to stand. I was reading the Quran to really know if that's something I would believe in or not. But the reason I don't give these all scientific proofs anymore is that I think the best way to learn about God is to read his book.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make up your own conclusion. Is this a clear scientific evidence? Am I thinking too much about it? Yes, no. Usually I don't give the numerical miracles in the Quran because people say I'm looking too much into it. But like there's one, the word man is mentioned 23 times, woman 23 times. Put them together, you have 46, which is 23 chromosomes for men, 23 for women.
Right.
You get, and I don't mention that. People might say I'm looking too much into it, or they go in the Quran and they mention, oh look here, there's 24 men, not 24 times it's mentioned men. No, if you see the word man in a noun format, in a singular format, it's exactly the same. But when I say this to people, they start thinking I'm overthinking it. But another one was the land is mentioned a specific amount of time, and sea is mentioned a specific amount of time.
Okay.
If you put in the ratio, it's exactly the ratio of land to earth on the planet, 71.11.
Yeah.
But again, I don't mention those because for me, those are not the numerical miracles that got me into Islam. Some people might thinking too much about them. I think it's too much of a coincidence that it's exactly the same amount of ratio, but even we don't know the exact same amount right now. But what's interesting for me is that I read it, I picked up on the scientific evidence. It made me believe, and then some people speak about those mathematical facts. I'm like, that's amazing, but I wouldn't use it as an argument to, convince someone if I wanted to.
Yeah. Okay. You said earlier that if somebody wanted to know God, that he shouldn't just read commentary on the books. He should actually read the books.
Well, I never said don't read commentary. I said, like, there's many people now that go out there and speak things that aren't even in the book. When I say read the book, it means the original book. Obviously, read it with the translation. You can also read it with commentary.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is that I know many people who, in order to learn about Islam or maybe even about Christianity, they go on YouTube, they type a random or even sometimes a scholar who tells them what Islam or Christianity is. But if you want to know the real Islam, you need to go straight to the source. It's
right.
It's again, it's a difference between Einstein coming and explaining his formulas to him, or maybe 1,000 years from now, someone else explaining those formulas for him, of him. Well, I know it's different. It's different. Let's say a story. Let's say someone told you a story about 1,000 years ago, and that story is preserved, but everyone, if you don't read that original story, you'll never know the real story. You'll see someone else's interpretation of the story.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess my only point for that comment would be, there's a lot of books out there that are allegedly from God, and it would be quite the task to go through all of them, and then in addition to that, maybe even read the commentary for all the books. Like I know, biblical scholars write some books, and in the Quran you have the hadiths as well that are supplementary material.
So what I do, I know some of the hadiths, but from other people, I haven't read them all. If you want to start just to get an idea about God, you just go to the book, just read the translation, no commentary, nothing, just the translation. Some things you'll understand, some things you won't understand, but it gives you a general idea of what God is or who he defines himself as, and then you can go from there. Maybe you're like, okay, that's interesting, I just don't believe, this is total BS. Or you can say, that's interesting, I want to learn more, and then it comes from within that you read the hadith or the commentary or stuff. But there always has to be a starting point. Obviously, if I wanna teach you calculus 3, I'm not gonna tell you, hey, come and let's do calculus 3. We go through calculus 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
The same thing here. Just go to the book, the general book, just the general ideas, see what it means, see what it says, and then you decide where to go from there.
Right.
But I think it's for most people it's absurd to form their own definition of God just by reading stuff about him online without going straight to the source instead.
Right.
The reason I read the Quran is that I did my research. And there are some things I don't want to say here, but okay, let me say it this way. Let's say you have 10 books, and each you have first edition, second edition, third edition, fourth edition, blah blah blah.
Sure.
You would go with the last edition. So that's what I did. Now some people would tell you the Bible is the last edition. I don't know.
New
I did this. The New Testament exactly is the latest edition, and the Quran is a fraud. Okay. It's up to you to decide that. For me, I believe I'll read the Quran. If it makes sense for me, I'll believe it's the latest edition. If it doesn't make sense to me, then I'll disbelieve. Either I can check the one before that, or I'll just continue in disbelieving. But for me, I always go with the last edition and see where it goes.
Yeah, that's probably a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another reason is that the Quran is only 600 pages. I thought if I wanted to read the Bible, it's gonna take me much longer in time.
Yeah.
So let's start with the latest edition and the shortest edition, and then I'm planning, once I'm done reading the Quran, I want to read the Bible and the Torah and some of the things, because as we said, we believe many of it is the word of God. So I want to know more.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to get to the source, like you're saying, but doesn't speak Arabic, would it be close enough for them to get an English version of the Quran?
Close enough. The one I prefer is called Sahih International.
Okay.
I feel this one is the best. It's a human translation, so there is always things that aren't the exact same.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's a very good translation.
Okay. So someone wouldn't have to go through the trouble of learning a brand new language
Definitely not.
To get to the word of God.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's definitely save us some time.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Okay, maybe just like closing that little parentheses. So you talked earlier about the importance of definitions before you brought the Dark Knight into the conversation as an example. Would it be possible for you to define God just for our audience to understand what you mean?
Okay. Well, there are so many ways I can define God. There are so many attributes. Almighty, all merciful, all knowing. But if there is one chapter in the Quran that defines God, it's chapter 112, which is like 2 lines, and I can read it in English.
The one you mentioned earlier, the shortest chapter.
No, that's not the
Okay.
shortest chapter.
Okay.
The shortest chapter is one line
One
and a
and a
half.
half.
This is 2 lines.
Okay.
Says,
Close number 2.
yeah. Says, for the definition of God, say, here's Allah. And we say Allah. Allah is just a name. It means the God. You can call him whatever you want.
It's the Arabic version of the word God.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want. So he is Allah, the one, the eternal refuge. He neither begets, nor is he born, nor is there to him any equivalent. In a nutshell. So basically, if you can tell me anything that fits these 4 criteria, I don't mind accepting that person or that entity as a god. Okay. So it needs to be one, unique, no one like him. So I can't be a god, you can't be a god, because with humans there are many things like us. We're not unique. We're unique as humans, but we are many in our species.
Right.
So just one, nothing like him. The eternal refuge, so basically the absolute. So if you tell me someone who's unique, infinite, and he isn't born, nor does he begets, nor does he get kids, and there is to him no equivalent. So again, no equivalent to him. That's a god.
So maybe there's a subtle distinction between the first point and the last, between uniqueness and no equivalence.
Yeah. So I added that word unique. The translation and the actual word in Arabic is al-ahad, the one. So here they added a commentary. It says alone, without another, indivisible, with absolute and permanent unity, and distinct from all else. Okay. The one and only to duty, unique in his essence, attribute, and deeds. The last one, there is to him any equivalent. I mean any equal. So he's above everything.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So he's unique, and also there's no one that's on his level.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
It's like again, infinity. There's no number bigger than infinity. Well, right. Infinity plus 1 is equal to infinity, but it's still infinity. Different types of infinity still.
Yeah. I guess the mathematician in me wants to say that infinity isn't a number. It's more of a concept.
Exactly.
That can be found in like you said, calculus and so on.
Exactly, but we need that concept so we can keep dealing with numbers. Mm-hmm. But infinity is not a number. It's just our way of seeing infinitely huge. It's something, again, we can't fathom, so we just say infinity.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. So in the cover of the Blu-ray box, you say that you have a fantastic idea for a new movie.
Yeah.
What would that be?
So, I assume I said sequel, no? So, basically, during the last days of the film, we were really thinking of making a sequel. And the sequel would be, so at the end, when the doctor is trying to implement inside Adam's mind the new fake memories, it just doesn't work out. It doesn't work out because within the fake memories there's a part where he dies when the thug stabs him. Mm-hmm. So the story would be him going to that scene in the garage, and he needs to avoid death but still have the same message for Sammy.
I see. Okay. And
I had also weird ideas that at the end I'll also do another plot twist that this whole thing, Adam, Sammy, the whole time travel mind implementation, it's all happens in the mind of the doctor. So he made himself a doctor and he created these scenarios for him to deal with his father's death. But right. I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. It's too much and it ruins the legacy for the first movie. But it was an idea at one point.
For the next movie, that was an idea? Or?
For the sequel.
I see.
A potential sequel. No, right. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would be preventing you from making that happen?
I think I don't like to work on more than one movie at a time. So let's say I'm done with this. Now for my thesis, as I told you, I'm doing an interactive narrative game, which for me, that's like a movie. We're gonna film scenes. It's gonna be through Zoom. but it's gonna be scenes where you interview suspects. You have choices, and you interview suspects. You pick the choice, and uh, the whole outcome changes. So it depends. It depends what kind of information and how many information about the crime you get through the choices that you make. So for me, that's a movie with branches.
Right.
So for me, that's gonna be my next project because I'm working on it right now.
Okay.
And yeah, so until that happens, until I'm done with my thesis, I don't think I'll make a standard movie. So you can say my next movie is a game. It's an interactive movie game,
Right.
which I'm working on right now. So again, murder mystery. It's a combination of Telltale and LA Noir. Um, so what we did is that there's a psychology course at UROA, and one of the chapters is about mental disorders. So we took a few mental disorders and we put them in the game. So basically, there's a crime, it's a murder mystery, and you need to interview the suspects. But many of them have mental disorders that explain why they do some of the things they do. Like one guy keeps going near the crime scene, and usually that might be seen as suspicious. But if you know that he has OCD and he broke like a glass
Yeah.
near the crime scene, and he just can't shake that obsession that it's gonna hurt someone, so he keeps going back and check. That's gonna help you with your investigation. When I say that to people, they tell me, "Don't don't say that to people because it's not done yet. The game. What if someone steals your idea?" That's what I love about creativity. Creativity is unique to you. No one can, in a way, steal it. I did engineering. I love engineering, but at the end of the day, if I want to do a project, if someone wants to do the same project, we're gonna write more or less exactly the same code. With creativity, it's different. I have this educational game. If someone has the same educational game idea, we want to get to the same goal, the process will be really different because each creativity is unique to every human being.
So I guess maybe there's a distinction we can make. You want to protect the work, maybe you want to look at copyright or something like that, but the actual creative process that would lead somebody else to be inspired, you don't want to prevent that for anyone.
Yes. No. Okay. So basically, I don't mind sharing the details of the game I'm making because I'm writing a script about it that no one can write, and I'm not saying that to brag. If you write a script, no one can write that same script because we all have our unique creativity side to us. Problem solving, it's like common for all humans. Creativity, it's distinct for every human. That's why I appreciate creativity a lot. That's one of the reasons I now make movies. So I told you when I was young, I woke up and I'm gonna be famous, but now I do it because it's a totally different goal, which is they say it in the movie Intouchable. It's a French movie in 2011. Very good movie. It's so someone asks the main character, "Why do you like art so much?" And it wasn't a movie; it was like just a piece of art. Why do you like art so much? Along those lines, and he tells him along the lines of because it's the only trace we leave after we die. I'm not sure if he says only trace we leave after we die, but it's a trace we leave after we die. So this film, I don't know who's gonna watch it. At least my family, my friends, but I know hopefully if this stays a thing, my kids, my sister's kids, my future generations, if they watch this, they can get a glimpse of who I was, how I thought about life, what I did, how I thought about God. Part of me still lives on, and part of me helps people through this movie, or at least I'm hoping to, or get them to reflect. And for me, that's amazing. That's the side of creativity that you don't see with engineering. Obviously, you can if you infuse a creative side to it, but I see people. Let's say if you're coding or building bridges, you're just making people's life easier, but you die, no one's gonna remember you unless the bridge is named after you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would help.
Yeah.
Listen, I realize you kind of answered this question, but I still want to
Yeah.
ask it.
Yeah.
If there's anything more you want to add to that,
Yeah.
what legacy do you hope to leave behind as a filmmaker, and how does this movie play a role in that vision?
Nice. I wanna inspire people. Okay. Let Okay. Again, I'll take a different movie. We talked about the Dark Knight. In Batman Begins, Batman says, or Bruce Wayne says, he's doing this because he wants to inspire people.
Mm.
At the beginning of the Dark Knight, you see Batman wannabes using guns and going about it all the wrong way. And he said, "This is not what I had in mind when I said I wanted to inspire people."
Mm.
For me, when I did a bunch of movies, I did inspire people. One person in particular, he told me, "Because of you, I'm gonna be making a lot of movies," and I was really happy. Then I saw his movies, and first of all, he he keeps yelling at his actors. Movie doesn't make sense. With all due respect, I know I shouldn't said that, but like the movie doesn't have a strong plot, and I think it got cancelled along the way. So if there's a legacy I want to leave behind, is obviously the legacy that I talked about.
Mm.
I also want to inspire future filmmakers, but I want to urge them to do your homework before that. It's a great piece of advice I got whenever I was making the first movie Juice. I talked to you about my mentor Saad.
Mm.
We were editing the script, and he told me, okay, so it's like, you know, the movie Pulp Fiction, right? I'm like, no. Okay, Vertigo, no. 12 Angry Men, no, 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 no. He told me, you know what? It's good that you want to make movies, but an artist, a painter, can't paint something if he's never seen a painting before.
Mm.
So I understand that now. This movie, I put a lot of hidden messages and things in it that I got inspired from other movies, but I still made it original in a
Right.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to tell people I'm really happy if you get inspired by my work, but this by itself is not enough. Please do a movie. Please help people's lives,
Mm.
but make sure you do it properly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'd like to do some rapid fire questions.
Beautiful.
So let's see. What's the hardest thing about making a movie that people may not realize?
Time constraints in my case. Time
Okay.
constraints. Yeah, I would say time constraints.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, especially if one actor is only in town for a few months.
Yeah.
That would play a big part
Yeah.
of it for sure.
For that's at least for indie movies, but then
Right.
you know there's at least of unexpected a lot of unexpected things that happen. I remember Back to the Future, they needed a set that doesn't shake at all. Like everything needs to be exactly what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
No one should get in at all. They put security guards to the building just so no one can get in.
Wow.
As things would have it, there's a small earthquake that happened and that messed everything up.
Wow.
There's always unexpected things that can happen and that can throw everything off.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you have to learn to adapt to the unexpected.
Exactly, adapt.
It's a big part of filmmaking. I guess.
Adapt. Like when I told you my prof's son couldn't make it, the plan was to film with him. So I'm like, okay, quick change of plans. I know. I told Cody and Ad and Max, hey, I know we're supposed to film the scene. Can you make it for this scene and be prepared for it? And it was fine.
Yeah. Stephen Hawking, he said that the measure of intelligence was adapting
Yeah.
to your environment.
Yeah.
I think that's a good definition. So
Exactly. Even the point of the movie, like Sammy caused, he thinks he caused his mom to die. He needed to adapt to that idea to move on with his life. He cannot keep refusing it or running away from it.
yeah, yeah. Can you share a memorable behind the scenes moment that no one knows about?
Two, actually. When we were in the parking lot, we had this fake blood, and as Adam was getting, so it was stabbed, and we're like, what if it's like this, and blood goes on the floor,
Yeah, yeah.
on not the floor of the wall. So we threw blood on the wall.
Okay.
We filmed what we needed to film, and then come to remove it, it doesn't get
Oh
removed.
no.
It's out there. I keep checking the parking lot. It's out there.
Yeah,
It's maybe that's part of me leaving my legacy.
Yeah. Fake blood on the wall.
Yeah. Another
Okay.
one is there's a scene with the Sammy missing poster
Right.
images.
Yeah.
It was him and me were putting the missing posters in there, and people would look at us weird, and then because they look at him, it's right
Yeah,
there.
it's
But
right
there's
there.
one guy who said, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I know how hard it could be to put in those photos." Like, no, that's just for me. You see, same guy,
Yeah,
same
yeah.
guy.
We
That
found
was,
him.
that was fun.
That's funny. Yeah, on the fake blood on the wall. Hopefully, you never saw police yellow tape around the area the next day.
No, we did, because I was the police who yellow taped it because it was part of the movie.
I see. Oh,
Yeah. When Adam dies.
yeah. What's the most rewarding aspect of being a filmmaker?
Nice. It's when it's all done,
Mm.
you get people to watch, and they're like, "That's amazing. That changed my life," or "That got me to think about something," or
Yeah.
"Because of your movie, I'm gonna change the way I think about this," or "I'm gonna try to do this." So basically, influence people
Right.
while entertaining them, and at the same time, teaching them or waking them up to something.
Yeah, it must be nice to see the impact that you have on the
Exactly.
people around you.
The impact. So basically, all the 1 minute I spoke right now just can be said with one word: impact.
Yeah. What's one piece of advice you'd give to aspiring filmmakers?
Do it. Just make sure you're prepared before you start.
Prepared for.
Prepared, like I told you before. So if you want to do, let's say, a horror movie, make sure you watch some horror movies.
Right.
Don't just go blindly out there.
Yeah.
Always treat your actors well. As a director, be flexible. Just have fun. Have fun along the way. If you have fun, the actors have fun. If the actors have fun, they'll do a good job. If
Mm.
they do a good job, you'll be more motivated. If you're more motivated, you'll have more fun, and it's a loop.
Yeah. So I guess as a director, you're very responsible for the atmosphere on the set.
Yes. Which is nice, because when we were on the set, Cody really helped me making the atmosphere really nice. And like with the original actor, I tried to make the atmosphere good, but all I get was like yes, no, with the other actor. But with Cody and Max, it was interchangeable. So it's always, I start with something and I'm hoping the actors continue it.
All right.
Yeah.
What is your all-time favorite movie and why?
2. First one is gonna be Troy, the one in 2004 about the Trojan War. It's just a great movie about how they show you two sides in a war, two sides fighting, and each one of them thinks that they are right and that they're doing the right thing. And the war keeps escalating because the people who make the decisions are not suited to make decisions, but the people who are suited to make decisions, they're being silenced. And you see how kings give orders. They want soldiers to do what they want, but they don't get their hands dirty, and that's really powerful. And it has a character development for Paris, and you see how a small mistake by someone who is somewhat insignificant can create a war between nations. And
The butterfly effect.
the butterfly effect, exactly.
Yeah. It's funny.
It's just amazing. The second movie is the Disney movie Tarzan. It's just amazing.
Okay.
It has a lot of emotions. It's the most emotional movie. Not emotional movie as in it makes me cry, even though it could, but it's emotional movie as in it brings a lot of emotions in you. Love, compassion, admiration. It's an amazing movie, and it handles a really interesting question about who is your family. Is it the people who raise you or the people who look like you? And when I say look like you, it doesn't mean literally look like you, like act the same way and have the same values and everything. I think it's a great movie. It's not a children's movie like people think. It's a movie that's very philosophical, more than people think.
The animated one then?
Yeah,
I don't
animated one.
don't think they ever made a live action one.
Disney, no. There's live action, but it wasn't Disney.
Gotcha.
Oh, and the soundtrack,
Really?
yeah,
Oh well. I'll have to check it out.
you have to.
If you could work with any actor or actress, living or deceased, who would it be and why?
I have no idea. I really respect Tom Hanks as an actor,
Hmm.
but I don't think I would like working with him. I tried reading his book with just so divergent
Okay.
in ways of thinking.
Hmm.
Maybe Robin Williams. I'm not
Hmm.
sure though.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah. All right. All right.
I usually hate saying I don't know or I have no idea, but I really don't know.
Okay.
What about you? What
I
a-
mean, I'm a big fan. I mean, in contrast to you,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And so, I'd be very excited, if I ever got into filmmaking to work with, I mean, any big star really from, you know, any Marvel movie or even Dune.
Okay.
I remember I was talking about Dune a few months ago,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's always cool to see. They call it an ensemble cast,
Mhm.
like a big group of big actors, and everyone's got a really impressive resume and portfolio, and everybody kind of comes together to produce something that's
Exactly.
bigger than the sum of the
Yeah.
So yeah, if I had to pick one, uh, I don't know if I Jake Gyllenhaal, and Oscar Isaac. They're my two favorite actors. So
Beautiful.
yeah, no, they're great. Donnie Darko, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Of course.
um, if you didn't have to worry about financial constraints, would you choose filmmaking as your career path?
Maybe not filmmaking, but storytelling. So
Okay.
that includes filmmaking, creating an interactive game like I'm doing
Right.
with my thesis.
Yeah.
Anything that uses creativity, which leads to entertainment and teaching people whether about concept or things about life or try to help them change for the best.
Mm.
I would do that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you're in the business not of filmmaking but storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just one of the ways in which you can tell a story.
Exactly.
Okay.
At one point, I was writing a book, and it's been so long I haven't worked on it.
Okay.
Probably 5 or 6 years, but eventually I want to get back to it. I need to change a lot because thankfully I grew as a writer.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's another example of storytelling that I wanted to do.
Okay. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
If you could travel back in time and give yourself one piece of advice before making your first movie, what would it be?
Not sure if I would give myself an advice, but when I was when I was doing the first movie, everyone would tell me, "What are you doing? Waste of time. Stop it. Like you're still young. Why are you doing this?
Hmm.
Who, like, not in an insulting way, but who do you think you are to make a movie? Like you're
Right.
still a student. Blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah." Thankfully, that never fazed me. If anything, it added the fuel that I want to make a movie.
Hmm.
But if I can travel in past to the past, no one. So people were doubting me, but no one came to me and said, "You're doing good. Do it." So I would go. I wouldn't give myself advice. I would just say, "Good job. Keep it up."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go for it.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, can you tell us when viewers can expect the movie to be released and where it would be available for viewing?
When? Soon. And I've been saying that for 2 years. But I'm hoping in the summer. I'm really hoping in the summer.
Okay.
Where is gonna be released? So first, companies release on digital, then physical.
Right.
I'm gonna do definitely the opposite: physical, then digital. So anyone who wants physical copy, they can contact me or contact you. And
Okay.
physical copy, I'll have a lot. And I'm thinking of doing an opening screening somewhere in Ottawa. But
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I'll let you know.
So if viewers wanted to contact you directly,
Yeah.
would there be an email address they could have or something like that?
Yes, I think it's gonna be rewind2023ziad@gmail.com, but let me send it to you in case.
Sure. You can confirm,
Yeah.
and I'll include it in the
Yeah.
description if anyone wants to reach out.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Ziad, very interesting mind, a man of art and science.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for making the time.
No, thank you.
It's really good talking to you.
Same.
And really excited to see what other projects you tackle on in the future.
I'm interested too. I don't know. Well, thank you so much. Well, let me ask you a question you asked me.
Yeah, of course.
No, it's an easy question. Don't worry.
I'm the interviewer here.
When can viewers expect the podcast to be released, and when will it be available for viewing, digitally or physically?
Digital. Well, not physically. Definitely, probably just on YouTube still for now.
Okay.
I am looking at expanding like the number of platforms that the podcast is available on. I used to aim like really high when I did my first podcast episode with Karina. It was available on like Spotify and Google Podcasts and so on and so forth. But
why aren't you aiming high anymore?
It's either very time consuming to upload all the media to all those platforms, or it's just very expensive to pay for a service for somebody to. But it's definitely something that I'd be interested in, and if you tell me that in addition to YouTube you want to see this on Spotify and this and that, like I can make a special effort. And when, that's the $1 million question, but I think soon, hopefully before the movie comes out, because I know you have a special feature Blu-ray disc as well, and it'd probably be good for it to be on the disc. But
so it will be physically.
Okay. Yes, physically available wherever this is physically available.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that typically video editing takes me about a month, maybe 2.
Okay.
And so if you're telling me you're aiming for a summer release, I think that's a realistic time frame.
Yeah, definitely
for me to work with. So, all right.
All right.
That's it.
Thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you as well.